Okay, so for our first video, far away from the crowds in the Midlands, Ireland, we're going to a place called the Derryounce Lakes. It's on the outskirts of Portarlington. You know you're on the right road if you see McMahon's in front of you here. But the reason why I'm putting this on dash cam and the reason why I'm showing you where it is, because it isn't signposted. Unless you Google Maps it, you're going to drive straight past it. The only time you will know about it really is as you'll see as we come around the corner here. There's a level crossing coming up here. Now that's where the entrance is. As we come around here, this is one car park. And sometimes in the winter, if the gate is shut in front of us, this is where you'd park your car, but you can still walk into this nature reserve. As we just come round to the right here, there'll be a few cars parked, and this is where it all begins. No cars can come past this point here. So I'm just going to park up and we'll start from there. Now we came in from the car park. As you can see, it's open from 9 till 9. If you want to walk in, you could stay later, I'm sure, but once it's getting dark, you know, it's getting dangerous then. What I will say about this is that there are no facilities. This is a nature reserve. There's nowhere to get anything to drink. There's nowhere to go. There's no restroom facilities. So if you're coming, just make sure you've got a few sandwiches with you. To get around this place, it could take 2 hours getting around it. It's a wonderful place to see. And so if you were coming to the Midlands, I wouldn't miss this. This is something where it's far away from the crowds and you can bring the children, bring good footwear, and have a really good time. Okay, so this is why I had to show you this place. This has been, as I said, this has been cultivated by volunteers from Portarlington. They have worked so hard on this, but you can see it's a fantastic place to come and see. There's one lake here. There's a working bog over the far side there that they still take turf off today, even though they're under a lot of pressure now, and fuel their fires for the winter. I've just come across, there's another lake on the far side here, an even bigger lake than the one we have here in front of us. But the nature reserve goes way past the lakes. There's a lot of things for the children. There's deer here, there's squirrels here. And they've really tried to make it into a family place. Now, as I said before, there's no facilities here. You know, come with good shoes. If it rains a little bit, come with a hood. Otherwise, come and enjoy yourself. This is a fabulous place that very few people know about at the moment. And in some ways, I hope it stays that way. Because it's fantastic. So I've just come down to the water's edge, and the first thing I've noticed is a crane just having a look, obviously looking for fish. So I'll try and steady up the camera a little bit, and there he flies off there. What a wonderful sight. Wow. Well, that was the first treat. So we're at the water's edge. As you can see, it's very sandy. It shelves into the first lake. You can get some idea of the size of the lake now. People bringing their dogs here. It's very safe. You might hear the dogs barking in the background, but apart from that, geez, you can't hear a thing. So we move on. Okay, so we're now at the much bigger second lake. And you can see it goes on for quite a distance. There's tracks that come through on the left hand side. There's a wonderful walk over this side that we are going to follow, and we're going to try and go around this lake bit by bit. But you don't want to miss this. You know, I've seen deer many times over the far side there and on the far side of the lake. They tend to keep away from noise. But as you're going around the lake, there's a few other little surprises which I'll try and show you. Just how well they have done this walk will amaze you. Okay, so we're still around the second lake. As you can see, there's some funny signs going on here. Now the volunteers that have done this have been fantastic in the fact that they want to stimulate the children as well, and they've done it in such a lovely way. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to go through this little passage and we'll see what we find. But it's a wonderful little adventure to bring the kids on. So there is something for everybody. Okay, let's see what we find. So a little fairy garden. I don't think the fairies are home at the moment. Isn't that lovely? Oh yeah. I'm sure the fairies are out at the moment doing good deeds, making people happy. But you're very, very lucky if you see them. Oh look, there's someone's house there. Isn't that lovely? I don't think they're home at the moment. So I think we'll leave them alone and we'll get back on the trail. Okay. Okay, so we've come to the wooded area. Now they've tried to be quite conservative about it. As you can see, we're early in the morning, it's a little bit grey. You get this dark image of walking through a tunnel. But this changes as the day goes on. As the sun comes out, you get wonderful ripple effects coming through. The sun just sprinkles down onto the ground here. This would be the case where this would be the time where if you're quiet enough, this is where the deer start. So it is a beautiful walk. If you're here, don't miss it. If you're anywhere near Portarlington, take the time to come to the Derryounce Lakes. This is a wonderful place. So it's soft underfoot. You have to just watch your feet a little bit. There's a few roots, as you can see here, just coming up. Access for the disabled, a wheelchair. They find it a little bit difficult, but it's not impossible. So we're halfway up the second lake now. Here's a duck trying to disappear. Lovely swan in the background there. And there's just wonderful scenery. That's where we come from up there. And we're following the lake all the way up. Okay, so we're well into the walk now. This is what I was meaning about the light coming through the trees. But, you know, be aware this walk could take maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to go around, so it's something worth considering regarding if it started raining. But it will be worth it. Okay, so at the top of the walk, you're going to come across these railway tracks. Now, disused for a few years, but now this track is now running again, not so much here, but down the far end. This track goes around to the left, where the turf is being taken off the bog. And now and again the train is used to actually bring the turf away from the bog to be put onto some sort of container to be driven away, or tractors come and take it off. But it's a practice that is under siege at the moment. With new environmental laws, they're trying to stop all the old bogs and all the turf from being used. Commercially now in Ireland, it is a dying breed. Locals are still allowed to farm and remove turf for their own households. But it is contentious at the moment. But yes, now this, like I say, this isn't something you would expect in the middle of a forest. But in olden times, this was used every single day to remove turf. Long may it continue. So coming from the top of the lake, come anti-clockwise. You can go straight on up to where the bogs are and follow the railway tracks. That will still bring you back to the car park, or you can take the return track, which brings you back to the lakes. So just to be clear, maybe a few years ago this track didn't exist. On the tracks that we have got, they've used like a mulch, which is soft for the kids if they fall. Also acts as a good way of stopping the weeds coming up. Like I say, you've got the roots here and that, so it's tricky underfoot, you have to be careful. But like I say, as you turn the corner, how wonderful is that? Like I say, this track wasn't here a few years back. All been done by volunteers, still at it, still improving the nature reserve as we go along. And I think the reason it's got its beauty is because we haven't got, you know, the ice cream vans, you haven't got what would bring the tourists to just spoil what is really a quiet, lovely place to be. You know, you can't stay here too long, there's no toilet facilities, as I mentioned before, but it is well worth coming. Okay, so we've just come back towards the lake now. So we follow that trail, then we come back to the first lake. So we're well on our way back now. You can go left or right. One thing I will point out as well is that where they can, they have put seats down so people can have a rest. Could even have your packed lunch there if you wanted to. And you have got seats dotted around the place. So, you know, if you're feeling a little bit tired or you just want a bit peckish, have a drink, that's what it's there for. Now the reason why I've turned the camera on now is we're turning right here. Again, where I'm taking you now is very new. It's an old track that used to be here, but they've done something quite wonderful with it. So again, this is another little small area that wasn't here before. And when I came here in the evening before, there were lots of red squirrels on the floor. I haven't seen red squirrels for a while, to be honest. More grey. But you can see from here, there's boxes of nuts on here and here, which I wonder whether that's encouraging the squirrels to come here. The squirrels are all around the edge of the trees there, and they're on that side as well. So again, a lovely addition. Well done to the volunteers again. This is an amazing place. Please come here, please visit, take lots of pictures, leave nothing else. Wonderful. So as I said earlier, you can see the bog there. If you look very carefully, you can see how it's at the far end there, how it's dipped down, how it's come down feet and feet over the years. But if you come over to see and you want to see, if you're coming from abroad and you want to see turf being taken from the land, especially during the summer, this is another great place to come. I'll just pan away from there. You can see we're in a lovely area. Again, one where you can have a picnic. There's another seat there. Little trails going off to your left and right. And we're actually going to follow another trail, which is going to lead us back to the first lake. So, follow the trail. We're heading back towards the first lake now. Just a nice little bridge to go over here. Here we are, back at the first lake. Straight in front of us is where the car park is. What a wonderful place. And look at that, as if on cue, there's our crane again. Wow. How lovely is that? I hope you enjoyed this first video of far away from the crowds in the Midlands, Ireland. If anybody else has somewhere they'd like me to film and bring it to light, feel free. Please subscribe if you enjoyed what you see. The wonderful Derryounce Lakes. How amazing. Thanks very much.